Okay, welcome back. We're on our way now to Fort Benning. And let me just see if I can find this thing. I always get these things wrong. Bear with me again. There we go. What we'll do is we'll just fly around this let me change this location just in case anyone pops in. So we're now moving from Camp Toccoa to Fort Benning. And the date, if we're going to just keep in touch with Easy Company, they were here in around about November 1942. So once again, we're on the runway. Let's full power this one up. There we go. Okay, so welcome now to Fort Benning. Let me just change your scroll detail. I've got some information here on Fort Benning. I get these scroll things up because otherwise I might forget to say them, so if I don't mention them, then it's always, the information is always on the screen for you. So Fort Benning, it's Columbus, Georgia, established in 1918, and then it's named after the Confederate General Henry L. Benning. It's been renamed Fort Moore, and it seems to be the subject of whoever's in charge at the White House will depend what name they want to give it. It spans, you can see it now, it spans over 182,000 acres. And this was the key role in World War II was the parachute training and airborne forces training. In 1940, the parachute test platoon began testing the feasibility of airborne troops. And an airborne parachute school was formalized here in May 1942. And during the war, around about 100,000 paratroopers came through here in training, and so we're talking probably 4,000 airborne troops at the peak per month. (506th Parachute Infantry Regiment) came through here in November 1942 after their training in Toccoa. The course usually lasts, well, it did last 3 weeks. And it was split into different weeks, jump week, and I can't remember what the other one was now. It was something. They did have. They talk about having a physical course, but quite a lot of them skipped that because the training at Toccoa was so good. They did a number of jumps here over the time. Any refusals in the plane meant that they were just shipped out straight away. They wouldn't qualify. This was also the home to the 555th Parachute Infantry Battalion, which were called the Triple Nickels. They were the first all-black parachute unit. They didn't serve as combat troops. They were called the smokejumpers. Basically, they were used to jump out of aircraft to fight forest fires, and the Japanese. There was a threat that the Japanese were using incendiary devices from balloons. They would use the jet streams to send balloons across to the northwest, Pacific Northwest. And these incendiary bombs would drop down onto the forests and start fires. And so the 555th Parachute Infantry Battalion were sent in to put these fires out. This is also the place where they had an officer cadet school here. Rangers training here, and other specialized courses. So what we're going to do here, we're not going to land here, but what I want to do is just show you the sort of heights that these guys were jumping out, and we'll jump out of the plane, and then we'll move over to Holborn. Let's just bring back this propeller. So if you remember from, if you've watched our series on Operation Tonga, on D-Day, one of the key components was basically they needed to make sure that there was certain wind conditions they needed, but the cloud base had to be good enough for them to jump. The usual combat jump height was about anything from about 600 to 800 feet, but of course this varied. We can discuss the pilots of the C-47s later in more detail, but you basically had some of the pilots who were not the highest quality flying some of these missions, and so if they hadn't experienced or weren't experienced in flying in cloud or with flak, and they tended to come in either too low or too fast or both. They wanted to keep the speed, the blast basically to a minimum, and so they would want to come in at probably about 100 knots. So we're doing 200. This is way too much. So we'll pull back on the throttle. We are also way too high, so let's drop this down. So we're about, if we're now drop another 200 feet here. Okay, so we're talking about this height for jumping. And so it wouldn't be a long distance down to the ground. This is why you see a lot of them when they were talking about the second jump when they went into Holland, that they wouldn't even bother to take their reserve chute, because it was literally, you probably didn't have enough time. Anyway, that then is Fort Benning. I'm going to take a break, quick break, a couple of minutes, and then we're going to go over to the UK and Oldburn.